So I didn't have, I guess, like what you would call a traditional kind of brought up in national parks background for working in conservation. I actually got into this field through the science. You know, all of the science is at play at once. This exists in the world, and through studying environmental science, I was able to get myself outdoors more and build my whole relationship with the outdoors. And so at 19 or 20, I taught myself how to camp and started wanting to go to national park. And one of the reasons I feel like it's important to talk about that is because I didn't have that national parks kind of upbringing because of the different barriers there are to accessing our national parks, especially for communities of different backgrounds and non-traditional backgrounds in engaging America's public lands. It is equally important to increase access to our national parks as it is to protect the parks themselves and protect the cultural and natural resources that they hold. When we open up access, what we're doing is being able to address both the good and bad that parks hold, the histories, good and bad, as well as building a next generation of stewards that will be able to counter those histories, take them with them, but improve so we don't make the same mistakes that we have in conservation over decades.
Would you say that working at NPCA has at all changed or shifted or developed your approach to broadening access?
I think NPCA is a place that values access really highly in the space, not just for the advocacy side of things, but like I said, changing the legacy. And internally, it feels like there's a lot of space for those conversations on access, especially among staff and what we can actually do together. So I think each program is focusing on access in its own way, interpretation, languages, whatever it may be, and trying to reduce those barriers in its programming. So I think it's important to tell my story about how I got into national parks and how a lot of other NPCA staffers have done that, because I want to show that there are a lot of barriers to access, but it's so important that those people, even with the barriers, try their best to show up and experience nature, because it is for everybody. There's not one right way to experience a national park. Like being outside and sitting around a campfire is just as important as hiking a 14er in one day. And so it's important that we keep that in mind and to build that next generation of advocates who can say the parks are for them no matter who they are.